العيش حتى أزوره أهنوا عيشا والفؤاد جريح حننت إلى قبر النبي محمد وراحت بروحي نحو طيبة ريح حرام لذيذ العيش حتى أزوره أهنوا عيشا والفؤاد جريح حمى الله ربعا حل فيه ضريعه ولا زال وابن القيس فيه يسيح حوى من حوى جود الوجود بأسره ومن عجب.
All praise due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We thank Him, glorify Him. We send our salutations to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Dear respected brothers and sisters in faith, we continue the last lesson on the منظومة القرطبي في العبادات على مذهب إمام مالك. We're going to finalize the last page of this small book that we've been going through regarding the pillars of Islam from beginning till the end, inshallah. Last week we looked at the Fara'id al-Hajj, the fard component of performing Hajj. Inshallah, today we're going to look at Sunan, and then we end up with the dua that comes after the Sunan of Hajj. Just remember, most of the information that we spoke about in this particular book is what we call this mukhtasar. Is just like more or less medium of every single thing. In some cases there might be extra in other books, and also or other madhahib might mention other things that this has not mentioned. So don't be alarmed when you hear something else from somewhere. In most cases, this particular book, as we saw, is manzuma, which is like a poem way. They put it in a poetic way, so they stick to basic and more common factors that is normally important in our ibadat, from aqidah, which is starting from the our iman, going all the way to the pillars of Islam. All the 5 pillars of Islam we've tackled one at a time, and this is the last one. In our last discussion we spoke about we're going to introduce another book. What we'll be doing is we will start with Ta'lim al-Muta'allim, inshallah, but later the aim is we'll look at Mutun al-Talib al-Ilm, and also we will be looking at Mutun al-Maliki. So we've got different books of Maliki madhab that spoke about ibadat, and we'll look at each one at a time in sequence. And thanks to those that our brothers who are putting all things together on YouTube, so we'll be able to have each book. We will have a whole playlist, so you can go one lesson to the other until you finish, inshallah. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help all of us and bless anyone who support our call towards the deen of Islam, inshallah. باب السنن الحج وما عدا هذا فمن مسنونه مثل الحلاق والذي من دونه. وما عدا هذا, they referring us to what we spoke about in the previous lesson, that is to do with the Fara'id al-Hajj. So anything that comes after what we spoke about regarding Fara'id al-Hajj, فهو فمنه أو فمن مسنونه. It means anything that we are mentioning apart from the compulsory aspect of Hajj, it is part of the Sunan of Hajj. مثل الحلاق, example like shaving the hair all out, to take the hair all off. والذي من دونه, or those that would just have a bit of shape, which means that they'll just shave a little bit instead of taking the whole hair. They'll just have just maybe 1 or 2 down from their original hair in terms of the height of the hair. So some will just go all out like to 0, while others will just go a bit less than that. So all these are part of the sunan of our lesson, or of the Hajj, performing of Hajj. The first thing, as we made mention, is the haircut. Haircut can be taken to 0 or just to 1 or 2, depending on what people decided to do. Now, والرمي ما يكون من جمار والنحي عن تكلم الأظفار. As well as الرمي, we know when people perform Hajj, they will do Ramyul Jimar, which is this where we go and throw the stones. There are a lot of ibarat regarding this. There are those who come with, we have 3 different places where the Jamarat are being thrown, where we go and stone shaitan. Of course, there are spaces. There are components regarding this that goes like in the early stage where Ibrahim alayhi salam was commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to slaughter his son Ismail. Shaitan came to him and trying to convince him that, look, this is just a dream. It's not natural. It's not real. So don't follow your dream and kill just your child, your only child that you have. And Ibrahim alayhi salam stoned him. And then Shaitan goes to the mom and said, look, why will you allow your husband, which is Sarah, why will you allow Ibrahim to kill your only child just because of a dream that he had? And she also stoned him. And then Shaitan goes to the child, also Ismail, saying that, look, your dad has just a dream, and then all of a sudden he's going to slaughter you, and you accept that. He also stoned him. So we got 3 jamarat that people will go and do the stoning. So it says that the ramyi, the stoning of shaitan, is also sunnah. So we should get that clear as well. وَالنَّحْيُ أَن تُقَلَّمُ الْأَظْفَارِ, and also it's not permitted while performing Hajj to cut your nails. We know that regarding nails and shaving all your hair, you are not allowed to do that until when you finish you shave the hair. So at the moment you are in ihram, all those things that are not allowed, like shaving your hair, like cutting your hair, or cutting blocking your nail, all these are not permitted whilst you are in ihram. وَعَنْ مُخِيطِ الْمُحْرِمُ الْجُيُوبِ, and also anything to do with normal clothing. Normal clothing is not allowed as you are in the state of ihram. You cannot wear clothes that has al-juyub, that has pockets. So that's why we got the ihram. It's just 2 cloths that you wrap, one at the bottom and one on top. So it's not something that has been sewed. وَالنَّحْيُ أَنْ talattuhi bitib, and also very importantly, the moment you put on ihram, you cannot be using perfume. You are allowed at the beginning before you put ihram on, but the moment you get into your ihram, you don't have any perfume on until you finish your Hajj rituals. وروى عياض أنها 50. So here, Qadi Iyad, he made mention in his books that the Sunan, these things that we mentioned, even though we've not mentioned much here, there are about 50 things you can think of regarding all things that one is encouraged or discouraged to do in the time of Hajj. And of course, we made mention in this book, we just come with a little bit at a time, and anyone who wants more information can search about it to get to know what is allowed and what is not, inshallah. أعني التي في حجنا مسنونة. So basically things that are pertaining our Hajj, doing and not allowed in the time of Hajj. We have almost about 50 things that one can talk about, but as I made mention, these are the main, and anything else you can search about it. قد نجزت قواعد الإسلام فالحمد لله على التمام Indeed, from the beginning, we were able to, with Allah's help, to talk about Qawaid al-Islam, which are the pillars of Islam. And we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for making us through till the end of the book. And then the writer, he made mention, Babun fi dua. Now he completes the book with a dua. Ya Rabbi awnan bi fadli al-Qur'an wa bin Nabiy al-Mustafa al-Adnan اغفر لنا ولعبد مذنب دعاك وتب عليه ما له سواك وناذر في نظمه واستغفر لعله ينجو غدا في المحشر اغفر لنا ولجميع المسلمين وكل من جد وقال آمين. So that is the dua that Yahya Qurtabi made at the end of the book. What was he saying? Ya Rabbi awnan bifadli al-Quran. Ya Allah, awnan, help us by the blessings that are in the Quran. Wa bin Nabi, we also put your Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who is our beloved and selected of prophets to you, Al-Adnan, who is coming from the lineage of Adnan. We ask you to help us because of the Quran and also with the love that you have with your Prophet. Make it easy and help us. اغفر لنا ولعبد مذنب دعاك. Forgive us, and also Abdun Mudnibin, he is referring to him, the writer of the book, that your slave who is someone who is always committing sins or doing wrong to himself. وَتُبْ عَلَيْهِ مَا لَهُ سِوَاكَ. And forgive him, O Allah, because he has no one except you. وَنَاذِرٍ fi nadhmihi, and also forgive the person who read from his book. The person who read from his book, forgive him as well. واستغفر لعله ينجو غدا في المحشر. If you forgive him, hopefully with your forgiveness he might be attaining reward that will help him on the day of Mahshar, which is the day of Qiyamah. اغفر لنا ولجميع المسلمين. O Allah, forgive us and all Muslims together. وَكُلُّ مَنْ جَدَّ وَقَالَ آمين. And whoever strive by listening to what we say and say Amin, forgive that person as well. So that is the end of this particular book. After that, there's a small book called Qasidat al-Muhamisa, which basically is Madu al-Nabi. It's called Badamasi, but we are not going into that. Our aim in our lesson was to go into the fiqh, so we will not go into that.
حبيب سرى حبيب سرى للعرش لك رفعة تقاصر إدريس لها ومسيح حقيق بأن الرسل صلت وراه وآدم فيهم والخليل ونوح حقيق بأن الرسل صلت وراه وآدم فيهم والخليل ونوح أتيت فلا أدري بأي مديحه أقوم وإني بالمديح نصيح حليم رحيم محسن متجاوز وعن كل من يجني عليه صفاح حفيظ على ميثاقه وعهوده إذا قال قولا فالمقال صحيح حريص على فصيحا حميد مجيد ذو جلال ورفعة على وجهه نور الجمال يلوح حففنا بحادينا بمدح محمد نناجيه والدمع المصون صفاحا حديثك أحلى من عبير مفتق تجيء به ريح الصبا وتروح حشوت الحشا شوقا يشق قلوبنا فلا قلب إلا بالحبيب قريح حطبت رحالي وامتدحت محمدا ولذ لقلبي في الحبيب مديح حملت ذنوبا أوجب النوح حملها وحق لحمال الذنوب أنوح حنانيك إن المدح فيك مكفر لجرمي ومن قيد الذنوب مريح